Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I'm reviewing the Fuel by 710 Cornhole. I've reviewed a few other bags from 710, but that was back before they were stamped. Those were the unstamped bags. I believe the Fuel is the first stamped bag I've reviewed from 710, so if you haven't been paying attention for the 2024 season, 710 is now ACL stamped, so if those of you who play in ACL events, you can now throw 710 bags if you buy the newer ones, the stamped. You can't throw the old unstamped ones. You have to have the 2024 version with the stamp on it. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's break these fuels down. We'll start with the slow side. This is a hybrid material. It's the same slow side that you find on the Viper R, the Reynolds Thunder, the Lucky Bags Pro Sniper Elites, the Swag Bags Chaos, the AAR Ripper, the Killer Bees Armite, the Dragon Bags Power Dragon, the True Cornhole Aftershock. I could go down in the list. There's a lot of bags that use this material for good reason. Wonderful material, very versatile material, very hole-friendly, player-friendly material. I call it a 5.5 speed. Brand new, it's going to play quicker. At 6.5 speed out the box, it plays pretty fast. But as you soften it up, as it fuzzes up, as you break it in, it gets anywhere, somewhere in between that 5 to 6 speed range. So I call it about a 5.5. It's on the quicker side of those hybrid materials that are out there now. It plays a little faster. For those of you who like to run bags in the hole, this is probably the hybrid material that you want because it's going to play a little faster than a lot of the other ones out there. Again, 5.5 speed, slow side. Fast side. This is that Pro Sniper Viper fast side. Same fast side 710 uses on the fast side of their Enigma, if you're familiar with that bag. 9 speed. It's crazy fast. It's great for pushing, collecting, cleaning up, blowing up piles, cleaning up messes, whatever you want to do. It's a wonderful fast side material for just pushing through multiple bags. So 5.5 and 9 speed. Both these materials do really well in humid conditions, sticky boards, all board conditions. So if you play in an area where board conditions change, you get consistency. This hybrid material plays very consistent across board conditions. So you're not going to get a lot of fluctuation there. This fast side material will slow down a touch as boards start to get sticky and damp, but not a lot. It's still playable. So if you play in those situations, the Fuel is definitely a bag you can throw there. Template wise, this is a medium template bag. It's kind of that standard template you see on ACL bags now, right? A lot of ACL bags are going to this standard medium sized template. Fill in here, it's a medium amount of fill, but it's on the fuller side of medium. It's not enough that I would call it a full bag, but it's on that fuller side of medium. These two materials have stretch to them. So brand new, you get the bags, you're gonna have a fuller feeling to them. As you throw them, as you break them in, you're gonna get a little bit of looseness. They're gonna stretch out a little bit. It is definitely not a bag that I would call floppy, loose or floppy at all, but it has some flop to it. But again, it's on the fuller side, so it has a wonderful hand feel, a fuller feel to it. If you like fuller feeling bags, but you're gonna have a hard time finding a bag that uses a hybrid material that stays on that fuller side, I think this Fuel is what you're looking for. You get a ton of control with it when you grab it. I can grip it. I have complete control of the bag, unlike when I get one of those sloppy, floppier bags. The fill in here is mostly a flat feel. I think it's mostly flat disc. There may be some thicker flat fills possibly in here, but it's 90, 95%, if not 99%. Flat disc fill in here. I think there may be some rounder, just lightweight filler beads because of the fullness. You don't typically get a flat disc bag that's this full, so it's probably got some filler beads in just to get some volume in there. But it plays like a flat fill bag, which gives you forgiveness on the landing. Typically, fuller bags have more of a balance, more of a kick. They're very punishing if you don't throw flat. But the flat disc is a very forgiving, has a very little kick to it. So when you put the two in here, they kind of counteract, offset each other. So if you don't throw a flat bag, this bag doesn't have a lot of kick to it. It's not going to punish you. It doesn't have a lot of bounce to it. It lands, kind of flattens out and runs fairly straight. There is some kick, some movement to it. So if you don't throw flat, the bag's going to move a little bit. But as long as you're consistent with the tilt, the orientation of the bag you're throwing, you can adjust your landing spot. It's going to play pretty consistent on there. So, and as I mentioned, these bags are ACL stamped, so you play ACL events, you can throw the Fuel. Let's go ahead and jump in, talk about playability on this bag, and it's a versatile bag, as I mentioned. You can, if you want to run bags in the hole, you can get up there, throw your 4 bags in, outscore your opponent, just get your 12 points and go round and round. You can definitely do that. Both materials are very hole friendly. The one thing I would say, if I were to knock this bag, there's 2 things, and I'm going to nitpick here. I really am nitpicking. One is I talk about flat disc fill not being the most hole friendliest fills, because when it gets up there, if you miss, if I'm missing my throw, that's not right. If I'm hitting my throw right, the bag's going in, it's going to fall in the hole, no problem whatsoever. If I'm not doing my job right, I miss a little bit off to the side. The bag, if it catches the hole and just sits there, it wants to settle. It doesn't, that disc, this flat disc just want to stop. They can stack on top of each other. They don't need to move. Where you get round beads, round beads don't want to sit on top of each other. They want to keep moving, and you get that movement, and that's when you get that bag just slowly kind of dripping and cascading the hole. A flat disc bag wants to just kind of set and settle. So you'll see that sometimes. However, because the bags are full, as long as it's on that front edge, side, whatever, they're not hard to collect. They're full enough that you come in, you hit it, it's going to pull that bag and just get that bead moving. So they're definitely collectible. The other thing I'll say is the forgiveness around the hole. Typically fuller bags, and this is no exception, are a little less forgiving around the hole. And what I mean is that when you miss your landing zone to the left or right, a floppy bag, you get that corner just has so much flop, it'll grab in, pull the bag, bring it back down. A fuller bag, that corner doesn't dip as far down. It kind of stays out because of the fill, and it kind of it'll skip over though. It'll catch a little bit, but skip over the hole and leave it sitting on the back where it's really uncollectible. Now, because it's a fuller bag, you have more control, so you shouldn't be missing your mark as often. And that's kind of the trade-off, right? A looser, floppier bag is more forgiving in the hole, but it's hard to control, so you find yourself being a little more, or I find myself being a little more inaccurate with the floppy bag, so I need that forgiveness. A fuller bag, I have complete control of how that bag comes out of my hand, so I'm more accurate. I don't need that forgiveness. So that's the trade-off you get, but just keep that in mind. Again, I'm nitpicking here. This is not a bag that I would say is not hole-friendly. The bag is very hole-friendly. I'm just trying to separate the difference between a fuller version of a bag versus a floppier version of a bag, and you determine which one works best for you or which one you think fits your play style better. This bag's also great if you want to play a dirty style game. You want to throw blockers up there, you want to cause a lot of chaos, you've got control of the slow side, you can put a blocker up there pretty much where you want on that area, put a blocker up there, and because the bags are fuller, they're very easy to collect. Full bags don't accordion up. I talked about the loose floppy bags, how they hit and accordion up, kind of smash up, and they're harder to collect. You got to come more in the middle. Because it's fuller, you got a bag up there, you can be more aggressive, put it on your opponent's side, and just come down the middle, clip the corner, and just drag that bag in. It's great for that push or replace style game where I put a blocker kind of up in the middle, push, replace, last bag, come down slick side and take them all in. Slick side's fast enough to collect multiple bags. So if you've got several bags up there, you can do that. Honestly, I never had a problem with these bags clogging the hole or bunching up. Typically, fuller bags want to bunch up and clog. I never really experienced that issue. I think there's a couple times when I had a bag off to the side and I stepped out to collect it. I might have had them kind of bunch up and hang there. But as long as I had another bag, they were going to go in. I never had them actually clog the hole like you do with a fuller bag. And I think some of that has to do with the fact that even though they're full, they do have some flops. They will fold up, whereas a stiffer bag doesn't do that. And a stiffer, fuller bag tend to clog. That's enough flop, it'll fold up. It still kind of goes in the hole. So never really experienced that. I don't think you will. Very versatile bag. I really enjoy throwing this fuel. Typically bags with this hybrid material on the slow side tend to be looser, floppier bags. There are only a few that have that fuller feeling. So if you're out there looking for a fuller bag, especially if you don't like the bouncy bags, you want more of a softer landing bag, I think this fuel is exactly what you're looking for, which leads me into availability on this. And 710 has a website. It's 710Cornhole.com. Now the 710 is actually 7 spelled out SEVEN and then the number 1, number 0, cornhole.com, 710cornhole.com. I'll put a link down in the description, guys, you can click on just to make sure you've got that put in right. The bags were $107 and that's free shipping on there. So $107 shipped to you. Kind of right in that medium price point. They're high quality bags, great bags. I have no issues with that. For, again, it's that medium price point range out there and I think you're getting your money's worth. If you get a set of these, if you've thrown the fuel, I'd love to hear your feedback, what you like, what you don't like, your experiences with these bags. Drop a comment down below. Always love hearing your guys' opinions on the bags. I thank you so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.